Guys, before we get into this video, I've actually made a few videos this week and I didn't upload them. I went on a personal journey, tried to sort out a few things, trying to get the technical things sorted off my GoPro, and I'm using my phone to edit all my videos, just so that you guys know. But the sound of my video and the image of the video went its own way almost in all the videos, the last couple of videos, and I just felt so uncomfortable making the videos. Don't know why. Like I said, been on a personal journey, and in this video I do feel a bit uncomfortable as well. Don't know why. Like I said, it's a personal journey. But thanks a lot for all the support, for all of you guys being so patient with the videos and still listening to what I've got to say. And in this video as well, I give a lot of good tips. Just make sure you listen to them properly, and I promise you it will make a big difference on your riding. So let's get into this video. Thanks for all the support once again. By the thumbnail of this video, you already know what I'm talking about. But before we get into this video, I've actually met a new friend watching my YouTube videos, and he suggested we get into a few different things on the channel. And I'm going to talk to you guys about that in the next video. But I really want to encourage you guys to put on the bell notification so you don't miss out on anything else we do. Because it's a small series I'm going to do, but the way we're going to start this, I'm going to get you comfortable on your bike, then we're going to get into a few next things. And I think it's going to be a pretty good series that we can get into, because most of the things are so pro-orientated and go as fast as you can, but it's never just a normal average guy getting us as comfy as possible on the bike and then going as fast as we can. Now I know there's a lot of guys that's watching this and think, well, I'm already super fit, but there's a few things that I promise you will be able to learn from this series I'm going to do. So I want to encourage you guys, if you're new to this channel, there's a reason you stumbled upon this, so hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on anything else we do. So let's get into this video then. Now saddles are probably one of the, I'd say, worst things on your bike, because it can either hurt you quite a lot, or it's so expensive that you just can't get to the price of getting a comfy saddle. But I think most of the times, especially new buyers, the worst thing that we can do is start buying new saddles and start buying new this and that just to make ourselves more comfortable on the bike. And I've seen this many times when clients buy new bikes at certain stores. I won't mention any names today. They put the guy on the bike to do the setup, which is amazing, but then they start pulling off the seats, they start pulling off grips, and it ends up costing you so much more. You've just paid a boatload full of money for your new bike, and I already ending up paying for a new saddle, new grips, new this, new that. And in this video I want to encourage you guys to go and do a bit more research on your saddle and what the saddle can mean for you. I've got about 9 or so saddles in front of me. I'm going to show you guys the difference between them, the type of body that they can work for, and how you make sure that you measure your bum correctly for the right saddle. Now yes, there are different lengths, there's different widths, and there's cushioning difference on the saddles. So the first ones I'm going to get into will be the ladies side, the comfy to racy and aggressive, and then we'll get into the men's side. And hopefully some of these tips that I've learned over the years can help you maybe get a bit more comfy on your bike. But I promise you guys, when starting out with cycling, there's no seat on earth that's not going to hurt your bum in the beginning. There is something like saddle fitness and getting used to something. So just bear with me. Let me show you this. Alright, so the first little saddle we're going to talk about, and this is actually not a little saddle, this thing is massive, is something like this. And I'm going to put my hand against that so you can just see how big this saddle is. And most guys and girls think when starting out cycling and you've got a big bum, it doesn't mean that your bum or your hip bones or your sit bones are big. It just means you've got some bit of meat on your bum and you're going to work that off. Now most of the guys think, and girls think, that when you've got a big bum, you're going to go for something like this. Now that's not necessarily the case. Yes, I've had clients that sit on a saddle like this and it's the best thing they've had, sliced cheese, but it's not necessarily the right thing for you. Now when you go and you look at saddles, not on all of them, but on some of them, there's these categories that they mention on the saddle. Now for this case, this is a saddle that you're going to set quite upright, which means it's going to be the best saddle for something like a cruiser or something that is not in an aggressive position. So remember, when buying a saddle or looking at saddles, it's not necessarily going to be the width and the thickness of this saddle that's going to do the best thing for you. You must think, okay, I'm riding a mountain bike, or I'm riding a road bike, then this won't work at all. If you're riding a cruiser bike, you're using it to go to the shop and back, or riding along the coastline, and this might be the right saddle for you. It might still hurt you because it's very wide, so you might get a bit of shaving on that, but that's what this saddle will be the best for. And just to get the commuting and the comfort saddle out of the way, it says comfort, but just remember it's for upright position. Moving on to our next saddle will be something that you are an aggressive rider, you like getting out of the saddle, getting into aggressive positions, but you're also someone that's not that flexible and you're sitting more upright. Then the next saddle might be something that you can use. Now like I said, we're all talking about the girls first. Now something like this, it's the Fizik Vesta seat. You can see this is not a straight saddle, it's got a bit of wing to it here at the back. They call this a wing flex side. Now what this means is that you are someone that sits a bit more upright on your bike, but you enjoy getting aggressive. So you enjoy getting down into your drops, or bending your elbows quite nicely on your mountain bike when attacking or riding a nice flat section on the road or on the mountain gravel road, wherever you are. Then this seat might be something that you enjoy. It's also a bit of a wider saddle, so if you're not a super skinny girl, it doesn't mean that this saddle won't work for you. Also the other way around, if you're a bit heavier side, it also doesn't mean that this saddle won't work for you. It's all about the hip bones. Now I usually measure something like this. Let's say this is your bum. When sitting, obviously there's kind of a curve, and if your saddle fits in there but it's too narrow, I promise you will know that, because it will be pressing on the inside of your sitting bones and it will be super uncomfortable. If you are sitting on your saddle and it feels like your bum on the outside is hurting so much, it can be that your saddle is too wide and you need to go for something a bit narrower. Now I see this, if you sit and your saddle moves into your sitting position there and you're sitting on your hip bones, on your sitting bones, you will know you're sitting on your sitting bones. It will take some time to get used to, but you'll definitely know it's not on the inside or on the outside of your bum. Now that's how I've measured my saddles over the years. I've ridden wider saddles, I've ridden narrow saddles, and as I'm growing older and my body changed, I had to go to wider saddles. So just take that into consideration as well. If you've been riding a bit and now your bum starts hurting suddenly, it might be that your sitting bones are moving a bit, you are getting older, things do change. So then you might consider maybe going to a wider saddle. So something like this, they call it a vented or a slotted curve in it. You can see it there. Now that's for all the soft tissues. Now if you've had a problem with soft tissue, you will know that this will make a massive difference. That helps for the soft tissue. Something like this with the fat and nose helps for stability and comfort, because you can move down to the front of the saddle a bit. You can see it's nice and soft there. And then obviously the wider side at the back, if your bones, your sitting bones are correct for this saddle, or this saddle is correct for your sitting bones, then this might be the saddle for you. Now if you are someone that's super aggressive, like riding in the drops of your bars, super flexible, and you're always just gunning it, then the next saddle might be for you. As you can see, this saddle is almost straight, almost like a plank. Now if you're looking at something like that, but there's something like that, there's no curve in here, there's no wing flex on the back. There is some flex on the wings at the back, but it's not something that moves upwards as this saddle. Now once again, if you look at something like this, on the cardboard that it comes on, it says it's for an aggressive position. Now you can only ride in an aggressive position for a very long time if you are quite flexible and quite fit. Believe me, I know, I've been there. For those of you guys that don't know, I was in an amateur pro team, and I was quite flexible, quite fit, and I could hammer it all day long in the drops. Now I'm not there anymore. I've got a bit of belly fat and my bum's got a bit bigger, so I'm riding in the hoods a lot more. This is a flat flex saddle, and obviously that chrome, it just means that the rails, the material the rails are made of. But you can see that this is an aggressive saddle. Now if you are someone that's in the drops all the time, you're not going to worry too much about sitting on the back here, and this side is flat, and that's the part that you're going to sit on most of the time, then this saddle might be the best thing for you. But now remember, you can be fit and flexible and not be super skinny. That's the main thing that I want to get to today is, don't judge a book by its cover. Then you can still look at something like a wider rail. Now how you'll know something like that is, most of the times when you flip your saddle around, there will be a sizing there. This for instance is a 155 millimeters. Now you can work at these. You're riding a 155 millimeter saddle, your bum's hurting on the outside or your whole bum feels warm when you're riding, then it might be that your saddle is just a bit too wide for you and you can go to something a bit narrower. Like I said, all these things I'm telling you guys, it's my opinion, it's things that I've learned over the years. It might work for you. If you've done different saddles and it doesn't work at all, in the next video we're going to talk about saddle height, so that might be a thing as well. So just remember that. So you're an aggressive rider, you like in the drops, and you are super flexible, then this will be the saddle you're looking at. So first of all, just remember, this isn't always as comfy as this can be. Never misjudge the two. So if you're an aggressive rider, then something like this will never work on a mountain bike or on a road bike for you. On a cruiser bike, yes, but it might still hurt you. So for the next saddles, we're going to move on to the guy saddles and unisex saddles. I've actually got saddles that it's made for men, but there's a lot of girls riding them and they have had so much discomfort with previous saddles, and then the best obviously comfort on something like this. So let's move into that. Now some of the seats are versatile, and it's something that you can use on your road bike, your triathlon bike or time trial bike, and then obviously your mountain bike. Now this next little saddle we're going to work on is something like that. You can just see if it's the right one. It's something like this. Now I'm using the Specialized saddles because I've got quite a lot. It's not a paid ad or promotion or anything. I'm just using it because I've got it. Now something like this, it's a padding level 2, so it's not too thin. It's a little bit of wing flex here at the back, but not too much. It's got a nice straight long nose on it, which will help you get into that aero position when on your time trial bike. If you're one of the guys that when you're riding aggressive you feel that you're moving a bit forward on the saddle, then this will be the best thing for you as well. And obviously you can use it on your mountain bike as well. This is an aggressive saddle, but it's also a comfy saddle. So what that means is you can use it on your road, mountain bike and time trial bike. With something like on your mountain bike, you're always aggressive, elbows out wide, and you like dropping your bar stem, then this might be the saddle for you. Now once again, remember you need to look at the width of the saddle. This is a 130, but you get 143 and 155 mils as well. Now if you've got a 130 on your bike and it's hurting the inside of your sitting bones quite a lot, then remember to maybe move to a 143. The next saddle I'm going to show you guys is it's quite a big thing these last couple of, year or two, where the guys have made saddles so short it's actually funny. Something like this here. You see there's almost no nose to this thing. For example, if you take something like this physique here, it's got quite a long nose, and then something like that there, it's got a very short nose. Now what this was, in the beginning it was to get the guys as close as possible to your limitations where the UCI has said. So if you take your BB cup, you've got a straight line up, you need 5 centimeters between the points of your saddle, the nose, and then the center of your BB. That was just the UCI regulation, and the guys use this to get you into a more aero position and thus to help you maybe go faster. Now I am not someone that cycles super aggressive or anything anymore, and I've actually put on a Specialized power saddle with that short nose. And the one thing that I found on that is because I can move it forward that much, so much, I can sit more onto the sitting part of the saddle, and when I ride aggressive I'm still sitting on that part. I don't have to move forward because I can get this close to the UCI regulation. Obviously if you move any saddle too far forward, you're going to go over your power point and so on, but we'll get to that in the next video. So something like this can also help you if you're not someone that moves a lot on your saddle. Something like a shorter saddle will help as well. Just remember your width, and then obviously this slotted section is quite important for men, I believe. It helps with all those soft tissues, and once again, if you've been in that position, you know it's quite uncomfortable. So always when buying a saddle, especially if you're a guy, see if you can find something with a slotted or a vented line in it, something like this thing. Now the next saddle will obviously be the unisex saddle I was talking about. Something like this. Now this came on my personal Specialized bike. Super cool saddle, very nice. It's actually quite a nice looking saddle. It just didn't work for me. And I've put some of these saddles, it's actually, I'm going to give you guys the name. It's the Specialized Venom saddle, or Venom saddle. I've put some of these saddles on girls' bikes, and they've enjoyed it so much that they've never gone back to a lady-specific saddle. So always don't just look to the fact that I'm a lady, I need a lady-specific saddle. And I've had one or two guys fitted on a lady saddle, and they've enjoyed it. So it's actually, it's such a wide thing that we can look at when looking at saddles. That's why I told you guys, never just buy a bike and then when they do the setup, they rip off the old saddle and all those things. Just see if that saddle doesn't work for you. If it doesn't work, then obviously you're going to have to start looking at a few things. But the pointers I'm giving you guys will help you decide on your next saddle. So pointer number 1, make sure about the width of the saddle. Like I said, if you are hurting, I can't use the words, but on the inside of your sitting bones, then you know your saddle might be just too narrow for you. If your whole bum goes numb and it's just super uncomfortable, you know that your saddle might be too wide. Now if you've done everything and your sit bones are actually quite good, but you're getting a lot of discomfort on your soft tissue. Now your soft tissue is obviously the parts that you don't want any discomfort on, and you're getting discomfort on that, then your saddle might be obviously not on the right level, and your fore and aft might not be right. But that we'll get into with the next video when I'm actually explaining the saddle height positions. So for today, I only want to give you guys a few tips and pointers. Width of the saddle, I've explained that. Length of the saddle, what that means, and obviously how important this vent is in there. So never look at the size of the saddle and think that will be comfy. So yeah guys, if you enjoyed this, I know there's a lot of info I've given on this. Like I said, it's just a few things that I've learned over the years, and what's worked for me and what's not worked for me. I'm actually one of those guys that I'm riding a bit of a wider saddle, but my nose of my saddle is tilted down. Usually when I get into my aero position, I like to move forward a bit. It just feels that I'm getting that bit of power out of my legs a bit more, and yeah, it doesn't mean that when you're going for a professional setup that it'll be comfortable right away. The main thing is, I usually tell the guys, get on your bike. Yes, the saddle height is very important, but to get on your bike, start enjoying your bike, and then you will start to learn where the discomfort areas are on your bike, and we can work on that. So guys, please hit that bell notification. On the next video, I'm going to explain saddle height and your fore and aft of your saddle and how important that is. So remember, make sure you've got the right width by measuring all the pains that you've got on your bum, and if you've sorted that out and you still have pains on your soft tissue part, just make sure that your saddle level is correct. And then obviously if that doesn't help, see if you can get yourself a saddle with a vented or a slotted area in it, and it will make a massive difference. So yeah guys, just once again, thanks for all the support. The channel is growing great and I'm really enjoying it. I've been off not doing videos for a while now, almost a week. Been on a personal journey, but we all go through that. So yeah, I'm back, and we've got a very, very nice series that I'm going to get into. Enjoy.